Hello and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about the worst Radiohead album, and I actually don't think it's the worst record by them, and a lot of people say it's The King of Limbs, and I've listened to the record, and I don't think it's that bad. In fact, it's very good, but a lot of people say it's not as comparable or not as good as other Radiohead records, which yeah, but it definitely is better than Pablo Honey, which I haven't listened to throughout, to be fair. But I've listened to snippets of some songs, and I've listened to some songs like Creep throughout, of course. But I haven't listened to like the full album very methodically and really paid attention to all the songs. So I will do that at some point. But I also haven't listened to Amnesiac as well. But I've listened to every other Radiohead album, and this is actually, in my opinion, better than the Bends. And even though it's so short. And I think a lot of this hate is just due to a lot of people comparing this with a lot of other Radiohead albums, which is fair. But I think this is like kind of a standalone album that should be treated as such, because even though it's like experimental, like kind of Kid A was, it's not as experimental as Kid A was, but it is still very experimental. It is very different from Kid A. It is very groove tight. The drums are very tight and very groovy. Everything on this record is groovy and danceable, in my opinion. It is very good. Except for like the super weird tracks on this record, which I'll get to. But yeah, this is just a fucking great record, and I really love it. The opening track, Bloom. Oh, before I get into that, actually, I'll interrupt myself for a second. For the people out there who care about my mice, the Ninjutsu store is only 15 minutes away from my house, and I think is at the post office, so it hopefully will be here by tomorrow. It's not like out for delivery yet, but it hopefully will be by tomorrow, as I said, and hopefully it will arrive, because again, it's only 15 minutes away from my house, and it's in my city, so I think it will be here by tomorrow, hopefully, unless like delays happen, which might, but hey, who knows? We'll find out tomorrow. But anyways, the starting track, Bloom, is very good. It's not one of my favorites from Radiohead, but it's still a very good opener. And Morning Mr. Magpie is the same. Little by Little is not my favorite on the record. It's good, but it's not like really, really good. But it's still a good song, but maybe I have to listen to it more, who knows. And then there's Feral, which a lot of people hate. And I don't see why it's hated so much. I think it's just a fucking cool track. I really like how the vocals are layered on this track. The vocal melodies on this track are great. Just it's so chaotic, which I love as well. There's so many weird elements to this entire album, for like the looping and the weird vocal melodies, as I said already, and the just the weird effects that they put on everything. It's great. Like I really do love the effects they put on Tom's vocals, and it really just seems as if his voice is an instrument in the song, and I really do like that a whole lot. And it is a highlight for me on the album, but it definitely is not one of the best songs, because then there's one of the best 4 album runners on any Radiohead album, in my opinion, which is, of course, Lotus Flower, which is fantastic. Lotus Flower is amazing. It's a very good dance track. It is very easy to dance to. The loops are infectious immediately. It's a very groovy track. It's super easy to dance to, man. And even in like the music video, fucking Tom is like dancing his heart out. But because it's a very groovy track, and I really do like the drum beat on this, on that. The synth lead is also great. The guitar at some parts is great as well. It's a really good track, and I don't think it overstays its welcome as well. It's great. And then there's Codex, which is just a very calm piano piece that is very nice. Tom's vocals are very good on this song, and is a great highlight on the record as well. And then there's Give Up the Ghost, which I don't see a lot of people talking about, and I don't think it's as good as like Lotus Flower, but it's still a very good song. And yeah, I really do like the vocals and like the only left ear, and then they build up with more like falsettos and later in the song. I really do like that. And then there's the final track, which is, in my opinion, the highlight and the biggest. I know I've said highlight way too many times in this video, but I think it's one of the best songs on the record, if not the best, above Lotus Flower, because Separator is fantastic. Is it one of my favorites from Radiohead? Probably not, but if I listen to it more, it might become one of my favorites, because it's fucking fantastic. I love the happy sounding guitar. It's one of the only Radiohead songs that actually sounds happy, and it is a very happy song if you just like don't like associate with the lyrics and if you don't pay attention to the lyrics, which I don't pay attention to the lyrics. So yeah, it sounds very happy, it sounds very nice, it's very calm. This entire album is super calm. It's something you can immediately get enveloped into. It's like kind of with Kid A, but again, it's very hard to really compare this to like the Bends or something else, which is why I see why a lot of people do dislike this record. But I think that's where a lot of people, where a lot of the unwarranted hate is coming from. It's because they try to compare with other albums that aren't very similar to it. And as I said, Kid A is probably the most similar, or maybe Amnesiac, but I haven't listened to that album. But yeah, I would say to just sit down and listen to this record. Try not to like compare this with any other tracks. Oh, this isn't as good as the Karma Police. Like, no, I would say not to go into that mindset and just listen to it and just appreciate for how weird and fucking like how groovy this album is, because it's great. Once you just sit down and have the right mindset. And also to not expect like a super energetic album as well, because it is energetic at points, but it's mostly very calm. And I really do like this album a whole lot. I don't see why it's hated so much. It's fucking fantastic. And I would say it might be one of my least favorite from Radiohead, but it's still fucking great. Like, it's still really good. And again, I would still say it might be above the Bends for me, even though the Bends is very good as well. Yeah, it's a really good record, and that's basically it. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.